As a homeschooling family, any moment that we find an opportunity to teach our children something new, we take advantage of it. So while we were at the park, we came across this bush that had berries on it. Now, I had no idea what the berries were, so I looked it up on my phone and found out that this is called the American Beauty Berry, okay? So it is edible, and the leaves are also quite medicinal too. People have made salves and also used the leaves directly on their skin to repel mosquitoes away. Now, that's enough motivation for me to take interest in this plant. So I wanted to preserve the leaves to use them later in another recipe, or not really recipe, but to try out that whole thing about using them as mosquito repellents. And then I had to soak the branches of the berries because they were extremely buggy. Check out this next clip to see what I'm talking about. Now, because this had really creeped me out, I went to work cleaning my countertops with bleach. Like, I was so grossed out. Anyway, in order to get rid of the bugs, I decided to let the branches soak in a bowl of vinegar and water overnight. By the next afternoon, I was confident that the bugs should at least be dead and that I would go to work removing the berries from the branches. But I wanted to do another couple of soaks of the berries to make sure that there were no bugs hiding in. So I removed all the branches from the vinegar water mix, and this was at the bottom. I just discarded all of that. I could have took off the berries that were floating at the top. I didn't want to take any chances. It was just way too buggy. And again, this is my first time working with this particular berry, so I wanted to be sure that we were all bug free before I began to make my recipe. So I was pretty satisfied with this batch, and instead of me pouring all the liquid into the strainer, I decided to scoop the berries just to, once again, make sure that we had all the bugs out, because this is what I would have poured over top of all of my clean berries. So that's why I did it that way. Now, this berry is extremely delicate. They mush up easily, so I didn't want to take the chance of having to scoop them out with my fingers, and I just used that paper towel to help me get them into the pot. I'm going to add some water and bring them up to a boil. Once they boil, I'm going to remove all the berries, and then I'm going to add some sugar to create a syrup. Now, my original goal was to make a jam or jelly, but I didn't have enough berries to do that. As you can see, the berries lost all of their color, but this is the remaining juice that I'm going to create a syrup from, okay? So I added a bunch of sugar, gave it a stir, brought it up to a boil, like I said, and then it was cooled down some so that I can pour it into a little jar. Now, it will thicken up over the course of a couple of days, but right here, as you can see, is nice and thin. So that's how it looks in the jar. Now, I have seen people with their thumbnails with this bright pink or purplish fuchsia color syrup or jelly or jam. I don't think you would get that. I think you would get this more dirty brown looking, I'm sorry to use that description, but you get the point. It's not as bright as the berry is itself, okay? Now, I went to work just trying it out on all different types of breads. I made flatbread, I made biscuits, I made a sourdough bread, and this syrup was delicious. It doesn't taste like, or it didn't taste like anything I've ever tried. My children devoured it. My husband thought it was delicious. And it just had to be delicious because we were at the bottom of the jar by this point, okay? So anyway, the next time we're at the park, I'm going to look for the American Beauty Berry to make other recipes with. Thanks for watching.